Mic check. Let me get a cold. All right, where are we? Let's find this stuff. Tell your friend the Black broadcast is starting very soon. Oh yeah. Oh, all right. Ready? All right. Let's go all the way to Tesco. All right. And quick fade. Boom! Look at that. The Black broadcast. Welcome to the 185th show. That's 185 attempts at working with the community to find solutions for Black people. Isn't that fantastic? Yes, it is. Tell your friends that we're live. This is your host, Rap Raven, for either anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on how the show goes. I'll be your host. Have I put? Let me put the link in as well. Invite. All right, let's move on with the show. So, don't forget to follow the Black Betterment Building Instagram page. It's there. Be aware. Click and share. Black Betterment Building. Just go on there and do what you have to do. Right. So, the single solution. Black Betterment is a lifestyle of Black people continuously helping Black people. That's right. So, Black Betterment is a single solution lifestyle. You see, it's a single solution. It's all in one. And it's a lifestyle that helps Black people help Black people continuously. You see, that's what it does. But it's a single solution to what, though? What is Black Betterment a single solution to? Well, we shall tell you now. To the double dilemma, which is number one, Black people can be individually efficient, but are collectively inadequate. Very shocking statement there. And number two, Black people may know a friendly non-Black person. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. Very shocking, that's right. So the single solution, which is Black Betterment, is to deal with the double dilemma, which we just said there. When we practice Black Betterment, we always focus on three main points. So right now, we call that the triple triumph, and the three triple triumphs are Black families, Black economics, and Black health. So sometimes you might feel we're repeating ourselves a lot. That's because we're focusing on these three areas to improve in the Black global community. You know, that's what we're dealing with. If you don't know, now you know. So don't forget to tell your friends we're live. What's wrong with this internet stuff? There we go. Oh, done. So don't forget to tell your friends we're live. Very important. Let me shut some of this stuff down. It's taking up a lot of RAM space and storage space on my machine. Cool. So we have a fantastic show for you today. So there you go. Well, hold on. We're going to send out the link, and I've sent it out at the moment. This show works best when, let me move that away. Works best when we have live guests. So it's not just me talking to myself. And we usually build off the live guests and jump and all that good stuff. But when we send the link out, we do try to uphold some kind of code or rules, and that is we push forward the 4D values. What are the 4D values? Well, this is them. So it's discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Don't forget that. Oh, that's cool. Let me find. I just have to pin this up so people have it if they jump into Black Betterment mate broadcast. There it is. Yeah, so don't forget, if you jump in, everyone's welcome to jump in, but just when you do, please don't forget to practice discipline, dignity, discernment, and dedication. Do not forget that one. Just pinning this now so I can find it, so when you jump on, you can see it. My internet is really slow unless I use my tethering device, which I won't. Anyway, so when you jump in, please try to use constructive language. Please don't use any derogatory language. So use more descriptive. It's always good. It's always good. What's wrong with this thing, man? Hold on. There it is. I don't know. There. Let me pin it now. I can pin it. It works. Pin message. Ta-da. No, I'm good. So technically I'm done. Don't need to do anything more. Voila. Don't forget to like and all the rest of the stuff that people say you should do. Don't forget, go, 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 go. Peace to Roundtable RTG. Let's pin that up. Welcome, welcome. Amazing Hannibal coin icon there. And it's proof that Hannibal there was a person of sub-Saharan African origin. Very nice. There we go. So where are we? Today's fantastic, super megally good topic: lost legacy versus black bequests. So what we do here, this is that we always put furtherment frameworks in place. We try to collect the dots and come up with branding and marketing ways to help Black people process information that works in Black people's collective best interest. So how to think of things, give the brothers and sisters tools to when they talk, because right now it is quite uneven in the sense of mistreating Black people is easier than treating Black people correctly and kindly. That's because frameworks were put in place to make that process easier. So we're reversing that. Yes, sir. That's what we're doing here. And you're part of that process. So you guys are important. So you can say in the future time that you were on the good side of history. You tell your children, your children's children, and the next door neighbors that I'm part of the process of promoting and practicing Black Betterment, which is Black people helping Black people on Black issues, the lifestyle. So lost legacy versus Black bequest. What are we dealing with here? We discuss how rich Black men lose their legacy. That's important. We're gonna use Puffy and the others as a case study. If you don't know, there's an entertainer called Puff Daddy or P Diddy. He might have changed his name at some point. I'm not too sure. I think they say it's based upon Diddy Kong, the Diddy Kong game, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong by this, but I was told this. Very interesting. I played that many years ago. But yeah, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on I guess who's saying it. His houses have been raided, and they're shouting this word. I think is it trafficking or something like this. So we're gonna unpack that, see what's happening. One of the things we always say is any victims involved in anything, potential victims or victims, we're always going to be on the side of the victims, but we're also going to, if there are any at all, we're also going to look at how Black people are treated in this scenario. We've got a very, very important video to play. Very, very important video to break down. Very important. Black Betterment brothers to Kungu. There you go, big up family. Yeah, so we're gonna break that video, and also Black R.A.C.E, the Black R.A.C.E, and the M.A.A.F.A pledge. We discuss how to use acronyms, hyphens, and marketing to unify Black people with a path and purpose. Yeah, so let me do that now. Get that stuff out of the way. It's important, so I have to. So the M.A.A.F.A pledge. So basically, what it is obviously we're always trying to find ways of how to encourage brothers and sisters to practice Black Betterment and definitely the triple triumph, and that is obviously Black families, Black health, and Black economics. But obviously, unfortunately, interacting, especially when you live in mixed environments, you're probably more likely to not want to do that and to incorporate all your ideas and intellectual properties and your assets elsewhere. And we're saying it's probably best to focus that inwards when possible. So you kind of need motivational charts of things that can make that make sense. So for those who don't know, the M.A.A.F.A, I'll read it out, is a Swahili word for great disaster or great tragedy. It is a term used to refer to centuries long ago enslavement and murder of millions of Africans by white Europeans, North Americans, and others, and the lasting impacts of African peoples and the descendants of those who were enslaved. Very, very, very horrible thing that went on. But I think people liken it to because Jewish community, they have what they call the Holocaust. So the Black community, we have what they call the M.A.A.F.A, and others have their own, grand histories of horrible things that they're overcoming. So ours is called the M.A.A.F.A. If you didn't know that, that's what has been branded from the Pan-African and Black nationalist movement, and big up to them. So what we're doing, we always add on. You see, we're going to add on to what's there. So I was thinking, why don't we come up with, and this is for you guys to jump in as well, the M.A.A.F.A pledge. What's this? I'm going to ask them together. The M.A.A.F.A pledge. What is the M.A.A.F.A pledge? So if we use the acronyms as we tend to do all the time because it's cool and easily brandable and all that good stuff, we could make M.A.A.F.A, which is a Swahili word, which is spelled M-A-A-F-A, and we could maybe say melanated, ancestral, anguish, focus, admiration. Hope I said that right. Now, all these words mean something. They're not just sexy words we push together. They actually mean something, and they mean something in correlation with each other. So melanated, obviously, naturally occurring dark brown skin due to high pigment containing heavy melanin content in the skin, relating to or being a black person or person of color. So it's always good for there's melanin in I think in all humans to be honest, but it's good if melanin becomes a representation of black people. Definitely take that, just like the LGBT took the rainbow. We'll take melanin. It's very good. Ancestral, obviously, that's our ancestors relating to or inherited from an ancestor. So there's something that melanated people are inheriting, and that's anguish and pain. So the next one is anguish, extreme pain, distress, and anxiety. So obviously our ancestors went through that extreme anguish, which is never good. Focus directly, great deal of attention, interest, or activity towards a particular aim. So we have to focus on that, focus on doing something, and that focus is our admiration. I'm saying that probably wrong, but which is the process of making a bad or unpleasant situation better. Admiration, yeah, you go, admiration, right? Um, and so that's what it is. So that we could have a marfa, and the pledge obviously is, a promise, something that you have to take, a solemn promise. So the idea is because the ma'afa exists, why don't we have a ma'afa pledge? And the reason, and so that means we are pledging that we are going to fix this issue. Now, naturally, when that comes in, the question is, well, how are you going to fix this issue? So then someone like myself, branding, marketing, that kind of guy would go, well, you could, there's many things you could do. You could be a Hebrew Israelite, or you could be a Nation of Islam brother, or you could be a Black Panther, or Black Lives Matter, all the other things out there, which is, all the guys who've done good stuff, well done. But naturally we'll say, well, you could just practice Black Betterment, you see. What's that? Well, it's a lifestyle of Black people helping Black people on Black issues. Oh, okay. So then you see how the marketing works. Because there's a problem from the past and there's great anguish. We have a pledge. So people have made this pledge, and we need a way to do the pledge, and that's Black Betterment. So if you're debating and people go, why don't you want to marry non-Black people, or why don't you want to give all your assets to non-Black people, or work for non-Black people consistently all day and stuff? I go, well, we could do that, but actually, because of the Ma'afa, what's that? Well, it's a great disaster that people went through. Really? Oh, yeah, Europeans and Arabs and Asians all just completely just killed all our people and enslaved it. Oh my goodness, sounds terrible. Yeah, it is. Well, and obviously the legacy of that is, we're economically not in a good place, and a lot of self-esteem issues, and a lot of our men don't necessarily want to marry our women. Blah blah. So we want to fix that. So we have a Ma'afa pledge, and that's because of the Ma'afa, we're going to pledge to fix it, you see. And the process we're going to use is a lifestyle called Black Betterment. Oh, that sounds fantastic. That's what it sounds. Oh, yes. Very good. Very good indeed. So that's the idea. Once again, when you come to Black Betterment, we try to make things simple, put frameworks in place so we can help Black people, which is always nice, isn't it? Yes, sir. It is. All right. So that's what the Martha pledge is. We'll go through it at other times and later on today, maybe, but that's there. Blah, 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 blah. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. Now, what else are we dealing with? Lost Legacy and Black Bequest. And we're gonna talk about this, then we're gonna move on to a video. Maybe I'll do some other roundup videos before I do the main video, but let's go for it. So Lost Legacy versus Black Bequest. So a legacy, let's read out. So when we talk about a lost legacy, the idea is Black people are doing activities that they're losing their legacy, right? So so if someone does that, we say, well, that's a lost legacy. So there's two versions: the inheritance version and the achievements version, and this also bleeds in today when we break down some of the rich brothers and sisters, right? So the inheritance version of a lost legacy is actions, processes that take inheritance from Black families, communities, and places them into non-Black communities, right? So that's like if you get married and you have to give away assets, or you got a business, you have to sell your business to someone else. That's how your legacy could be lost. We always try to keep that circulating in the Black community as fast as possible, and some of the easiest ways is like Black businesses and Black marriages and all that kind of stuff, right? So, but the achievement version is doing unethical, error-prone actions that can be used to undermine the memory of great public achievements. So you're a rich or famous brother or sister, but because you've done so much deceitful or hurtful things that people will use that, which might be happening now, who knows, to then sully everything you've done, so that your achievements can never be mentioned. So you see what has happened to Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, allegedly Michael Jackson, um, uh, Puff Daddy at the moment. There's a few others. It will jump in my mind. But yeah, it seems to be. So the question is, can we educate our brothers and sisters to live a certain way to minimize that happening? And that's very important. So that's what we call lost legacy. Whenever these activities happens in the inheritance version or the achievement version, we have a tone or a way of speaking or a feeling that says, lost legacy. And we want to obviously minimize lost legacy and make it none. We don't want lost legacy. But what the opposite of lost legacy is Black Bequest. All right. So that's once again in two versions. Inherits version, which is action processes that assures inheritance from Black families, communities remain within the Black families and communities. So that's and also achievement, doing constructive high principle acts to strengthen the memory of great public achievements. So what we're trying to have as many Black bequests as possible. So it's a thing. So yes, we want Black bequests and not lost legacy. So whenever a brother does an activity that might take his finance or his intellectual property out of the community, we say that's lost legacy. And whenever they do things to bring it in, we say Black bequests. So we now have a framework of what we're trying to do. Boom, 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 boom. Now, that's going to segue into some of our videos we've got today. Let's break down. These people are all entertainers. Most of the art they produce did nothing to better Black people, of course, and that's why we try to. That's why we say we want constructive, high principle acts if possible. I think did I not? Where's that figure? Black people. Did I not put that in this one? I didn't put it in there. Did I not do that? That's a shame. I don't think I put it in. 1,000 shames on me. So another thing we're going to do, might do next week as well, is the Black race thing. Because while I play the video, maybe I'll I don't forgot time to do that. Yeah, maybe we'll break it down. But that's taking the word race, because with race, whenever you debate and you say you want to help the Black race, people go, race doesn't exist, it's a social construct. Yeah, it is, sure, that's great stuff. I sold money, but you don't want to give it away. But what we say is, well, why don't we have more control of this concept of race? And I wrote down here that we could have acronyms for race that works in Black people's best interest. And I wrote it down there. Let me see if I can get it here. I should not have had. I think I do memorize it up here. There we go. Black race. And that is, so race could stand for reconnected Afro-centered ethnicities. There you go. So that way, because I've always said that Black people are a collection of a collection working for protection and perfection, or a multi-ethnic group, whatever, however you want to say it, whatever, right? And that way, whenever you're debating and talking, because people always try to throw spans in the work, race doesn't exist. You can't help Black people because we don't exist, blah, 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 that stuff, right? How fantastic is that? Once again, when it comes to mistreating Black people, you know who they are. But when it comes to helping Black people, who are they? And we see this a lot. So we could reinvent race as in reconnected Afro-centered ethnicities. There you go. That's what the Black race is. But I'll do a whole diagram for it next week. I forgot to do it. I was too busy doing something else, I guess. But shame on me twice. But anyway, well, that's that. Good afternoon to everyone. Big up Brother Dominic, very important contributor there. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna look at some videos that's not to do with the topic, just like a news reel, what's floating on the internet, and then we'll go into the we're going to tackle the lost legacy one. I've got a few ones there, very important ones. So let's go for it, and we're going to segue. But remember, every time we play a video, see how it connects to the triple triumph, right? Which is Black families, or Black economics, or Black health, because you always find that there's always it's always connected to one of them, and that's your weekly homework to always see how is this video connected to these three things. All right, fantastic. Find the video. There we go. So let's see what I've downloaded today. Let's go to the shows. Let's look at the 185 folder. Here it is. So let's see, what should I play? Nick Nana Blackface. Yeah, this is not nice. So they saw this guy.
Hey, what's your name? Shumu. What's your name? Who's going on? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? Oh man. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
My name na Avuvu Onichi Bumuvim or Sans.
Right. So yeah. So I think they say there's Israeli citizens who are dressing up in blackface. I think I guess mocking the Khoisan language at some point. I'm not too sure. But yeah, once again, Black People Collective, we have no friends. We have spoke about some of the mistreatment that goes to Black people in the land of Israel, and and also next to Palestine, that kind of stuff. So we're just showing you some stuff that seems to be circulating. Hopefully, someone will fix that. Let's see what else we got. Hold on. So blackface and this is a lady. This is a few years back, 8 years. But there's a lady. She's saying things that we should know, but even though we know it, there's a way we have to respond to it, and we'll break that down afterwards. Let's have a listen to. I think it's Ann Coulter or something.
Comment in your new book.
It's old, by the way, maybe 8 years or so, maybe more.
Here, mugged on. I think it's on page 151. You write that various groups, feminists, gay rights groups, and those who are defending immigrants have commandeered the Black civil rights experience.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that because I think it's one of the most important points of the book. I mean, I think the way liberals have treated Blacks like children and many of their policies have been harmful to Blacks. At least they got the beneficiary group right. We do have to, we shouldn't. There is the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow laws. We don't owe the homeless. We don't owe feminists. We don't owe women who are desirous of having abortions, but or gays who want to get married to one another. That's what civil rights has become for much of the left. They dropped the Blacks after 5 minutes.
Immigrant rights are not civil rights?
No, I think civil rights are for Blacks.
See, this is essentially the problem, and the Republicans don't understand.
What have we done to the immigrants? We owe Black people something. We have a legacy of slavery. Immigrants haven't even been in this country.
But you see, most of us are either immigrants or are the descendants of immigrants, and we understand that not everybody. There are Native Americans in, but we understand in this country. We understand in this country that kind of self-deportation, making things so difficult for immigrants, for undocumented immigrants, that they have to leave, or the DREAM Act, threatening to veto the DREAM Act, which is what Romney has said. And again, we have Governor Romney, who is basically taking a position that is anti a large and the fastest growing segment of the electorate.
And here's the thing, if Republicans don't do something with immigration, and if Republicans are so far away from Latinos, they're going to lose not only this election, they might lose the White House for generations.
The future.
And Texas to turn
That's why the
from red to
Democrats
blue.
are dropping the Blacks and moving on to the
They're not
Hispanics
dropping
because
the
they're a
Blacks.
larger group of Hispanics now. But could I just say to Jorge, I hate to disagree with you when you're attacking President Obama, but I think the point on immigration is you can have open borders or you can have a welfare state.
Right. So there's a lady there talking the truth about what Americans go through and have gone through. But once again, a lot of the political parties over there, they will use the truth to battle each other and to make one the enemy and the others the saviors. So once again, even though there's truth there, you won't really rush in and start supporting people based upon these truths. These are more tactics. But it's just what the lady said there is very true, and that's what the brothers and sisters in America have to always remember. That you guys have gone through so much, but there has been no kind of reparations or acknowledgement of these kind of things. But we see this pattern all over the world. That's why we say collectively Black people have no friends. Please don't forget that. Very important. Very important. Oh yes. What's this one? Oh yeah, this is now Black people in another place. I saw this video. It's I'm not sure what's going on. I think we're giving out stuff. There's an Arab somewhere in the Arab world.
She can't do that. Shoot her or something.
Yeah, so some video of Black women being lured by Arabs giving out some kind of free stuff. Well, I don't know. So yeah, we see a lot of those videos. Let's put it on. Thought it was interesting to see that. Once again, Black people collective have no friends. Blah blah. Good stuff. Where are we? Black leader. What's this one? White woman sports. Oh, what's this interesting? Let's see what she said there.
Basketball men and white women. What's that about? People in sports and white women.
I think a majority of what we see is men choosing women who are willing to do for them what needs to be done or what they need to feel within a relationship. She probably waits on him hand and foot, gives him sound advice, talks to him respectfully, and the list goes on and on and on. What we don't talk about in our community is the war between men and women. That's why we here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People that look like me and you who don't treat each other or show up for each other the way that we need to. And women all day long. I have clips in my phone, even from other podcasts and other things that go viral. You literally have women that look like you, Queen, that are saying, we don't need men. We don't need them.
Isn't that crazy?
Good. But then the same women that say, well, we don't need y'all, you get mad when they go elsewhere.
Facts.
But I don't hear people going crazy when Serena marries her husband or Eve marries her husband, because it's a double standard.
Yeah.
Right? They'll say, I'll take that billionaire too. But again, are we focused on the love aspect, or are we focused on what you think or how that looks? I'm big on, black love, but I'm also big on love.
All right, so all that stuff there. So we have a framework for what this gentleman's saying, and that is, failure fabrication and success simulation. You see, so what happens is, for time untold, black men more so have longed to be with the daughters of European men, the daughters of European men, and what's happened is, obviously at a point it's hard to build industries because of it, and there is no real focus. Hence why black men comes to focus it. But when it comes to talking about it, we create a failure fabrication towards black people getting together and a success simulation of black people getting towards European people, right? And I think sometimes when we're in the comment section talking, we need a way to frame it, and that is, if black men in high numbers, especially when they're getting rich, are marrying out, then what we can say, if you want to, rather than create a dynamic between black men and black women, say that white men are successful at making white women alluring, and black men are unsuccessful at making black women alluring. You see, always put the emphasis on black men and other men. Don't put it on black men and black women, because then we'll have this kind of civil war. And so that is the framework I would look at when it comes to fixing this problem. We want, as a black man becomes richer and richer, for him to heighten the chance of him picking a black woman. That's better for the for black people. So remember, when you're telling your stories, let's have a success simulation of black men finding a black woman, because right now, a lot of this is speculation when they talk about it. They don't give examples. They go, what if scenarios. So maybe it works in our own people's best interest to have what if scenarios of black people being successful at this process. Just a thing. But we big up Brother Musa jumping on the show. Welcome back.
What's going on, Rat Raven?
It's good to see you, family.
What's going on? Did I hit Rat Raven? Did I hear you correctly? Did you say that the white woman? You said the black man finds the white woman more desirable? Did you say something?
I'll break it down. Good. I said that we just, before you jumped in, we played a video of a black sister asking a brother in America, why is it so many rich basketball players are not picking black women? And he gave what we call a failure fabrication of, black women wanted to be single and not wanted to, be soft and calm and this kind of stuff. And then he gave a success simulation of European women doing these things that he most desires, some men most desire. So what I did instead of return is, this will be a black man, black woman back and forth argument throughout the internet. That's what's going to happen. So what we want to do, I recommend, is change it from black men towards black women and black men towards white men, saying that white men are successful at making their women alluring, while black men are unsuccessful at making our women alluring. That way, the competition is now for black men to fix that rather than jump ship. But whenever you remove the white man from the equation, then we have this love has no color concept, right? But when you bring him back in, you realize, actually, we're moving into his territory, and we haven't fixed our territory, right? And also, there's a history of him destroying our territory, which is another thing. So that's where it comes from.
I like your approach, Raven. I've come to realize as well, the magnitude of our issues. Like, you start to see the magnitude, the impact of it. Sometimes some people don't see it. They see the surface and they think, oh yeah, you just need to fix 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 problems. But the magnitude of the problem is so ingrained that it becomes a generational thing that you'd really have to give your undivided attention to some type of black betterment program to reverse this type of psychology. Yeah, you have to really it's like it's a full-time job.
And that's why we have the framework here. We have to literally put the breadcrumbs of how to actually achieve that.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move. We're just gonna show you some brief videos before we move on to our topic. So it's an unfortunate one. It's been blurred out, so it shouldn't offend too many people. But this is we see this trend of non-black people getting black people to kiss their feet. This kind of stuff went on in slavery, both in the Arab world as well as in the European world. But it continues here in the schools. So we're just gonna the young brothers' faces been blurred out. So we're just gonna see. But last week there was another issue, and that the Forever Family brothers and sisters went to sort it out, and they did. So let's look at this one here.
You're not him. Kiss my shoes right now. For what? Kiss it right now. No. Travis Scott, I guess. Oh, nah, room.
One more.
One more. Bro, why are you having it, man? Nah, room. No. Finish it off. Yeah. Finish it off. Dude, finish it off. Romeo, punch it. No. Grab this here. Yeah, that's better. Oh, there's dandruff on it, man. What is that? Damn, you violent, man. Now hump him now. Grab scissors. You got scissors. Hey. Oh, this is so hard. Come on. I have no involvement. Come. I beg someone come here.
There's a video of people bullying a young brother there. But luckily we have a follow-up video from Forever Family, so let's have a look at that.
In Chingford, I linked up with the brothers. We found out where our young brother was first, the young champion. We went linked up with his mum, supported her. She is on site, wanting to go to the house of the perpetrators. We went to 3 different houses. Everyone will be held accountable. Yeah, the young people do their own thing. Yeah, they're disgusted by the violation. And the perpetrators all made it clear they would never try it with the youths that are in the end normal. The youth they tried it with is a young brother with a loving heart. You know what I'm saying? He's a young brother with a loving heart. And we don't need to talk about whether people have learning disabilities or anything else. That's a personal thing. You get what I'm saying? Just letting you know this youth's got defense, his spirits are high, and all 3 of the perpetrators are shaking in their boots right now. I'm going to keep you updated. Peace.
Big up Brother Respect and the Forever Family there. Big up them. Just give us an update on this new trend of making black children kiss non-black people's feet. Very similar to the enslavement from the Arab slave trade as well as the European slave trade. Let's carry on. What else we got? Hating. This is something I saw briefly, but it came in. Something we want to fix. So this is Brother Levi Roots. He made a very famous sauce. He was on TV singing songs, and he got the nation's love for his history of making sauce and songs and this kind of thing. I've actually been to his restaurant, fair enough. I've been to his restaurant. He was there singing when I was out there. It's a good guy. But anyway, I saw this. I just thought we should talk about it for a bit. Just to go over what's happening.
Listen, I ain't even trying to sabotage man's thing. Big up Levi Roots, do your thing, innit? I'm just saying, do you lot know that black people do not use this sauce, innit? You lot know that, innit? I'm not talking to black people because black people know that black people don't use this. I'm just saying, for people that are not black, yeah, you do understand that actual black people, even though Levi's Roots is black, I'm just saying black people don't use this sauce ever. At no time ever do we buy this sauce. Ever. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy it though. I'm just saying we don't buy that when we're cooking food thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you want food thing, I'm not even saying, listen, do your thing. I'm just saying we don't buy that. That's all I'm saying. I ain't trying.
Yeah, so it's a bit, maybe the brother's a comedian and he's using the kind of banjo kazooie music and this kind of stuff. I think I think one thing I've done is how important black economics is, and I know we tell jokes for our shows, trying to undermine, entrepreneurs and up and coming entrepreneurs. It's very challenging to get products in stores, and this brother's got a tail in that. I think we better us make jokes about other things rather than our own community. I would recommend, especially if anything that can undermine anything that we want people to purchase black products, right? So Black, I'm going to message this. Well, I think I've left a message on some pages. I don't know if it's his page or not. Who knows? But yeah, probably best not to do these kind of jokes. But who knows? Maybe I'm overreacting, but maybe I'm not. I suspect I'm not.
Raven. You're not overreacting. You're right. It's important for blacks to have success in business and have products to promote. Even if we're selling it to white people, it doesn't matter. The fact that he's not a criminal and he's not a thief and he's not making an honest living, we should at least give him props for that.
There you go.
Rather than the first time you see a black person do something positive, you need to criticize it.
There you go. Also, something I saw a UK version of this same process. So this is over in the States. The problem is the States where they have African Americans, Haitian Americans, Jamaican Americans, all in like the city together. But this happened. It's a few weeks ago, maybe months ago. I don't know. But it's more so the concept of this idea. And there was a video from the UK that was similar, but I didn't download it. I couldn't find it again. But yeah, let's break this down.
I'm sorry, I can't do Americans. I need somebody with culture. I'm sorry.
Black Americans got culture. Americans got culture.
I need somebody with culture.
Americans don't have culture.
I got culture.
We got the culture. We are the culture.
Who the culture?
We are the culture. Globally, they know about Black Americans.
No, hold on.
Globally, they know about Black Americans.
But you gotta remember 1804, baby. I'm the one that wanted my
American. We're not gonna use the word American.
Yeah, Black Americans.
I ain't gonna hold
That's
you.
fine,
We are the
but listen,
culture.
1804, I'm the reason why you have your independence.
That's the part I hate about
Haitians was the
Caribbean
first
people, though.
free independent country. First black free independent.
That ain't got nothing to do with. That don't got nothing to do with America.
That's nice. I'm just letting you know the reason why y'all have y'all independence.
Y'all coming over here because of us, because of the hard work that Black Americans did.
You know Haiti is like in debt for 1 trillion years because
you know why? Because the French owe us how much?
So y'all got your independence for what?
paying.
What?
Wait, when you say Haiti's the reason Americans got their independence, what do you mean by that?
How they gonna cook me for that?
What do you mean by that?
Y'all gotta cut that out.
We won.
African Americans are free?
I'm not saying that we set the revolution. The reason we were the first independent free country.
Ain't nobody give a fuck about y'all, bro.
Look at him pointing. Look at him pointing. Are you crazy?
No, but by paying Britain, what?
I'm talking about we set the thing. We the one that set it. 1804. We the first free independent Caribbean country.
I'm not gonna go in depth with
Are you
that,
crazy?
but y'all have.
But what that got to do with America?
African Americans.
We said it, and then y'all followed.
Y'all said it for yourselves, not for no
We said
Black
it, and then y'all followed.
And we set the stage for y'all immigrants to come over here and profit off of America.
And you're mad that we came to.
No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm telling you what Black culture provided for you and your family.
How that provided for me and my family?
Because we set the standard. We set the
Who
standard.
came here? I didn't come here.
You here right now?
My family came here.
And you're here now.
And they made their money and they went right back to Haiti. So what's up?
So why you ain't go right back to Haiti?
Because why would I come back to Haiti? I'm Gucci where I'm at.
Where your parents live?
They're here.
What?
And they doing the flow.
How's that going right back to Haiti? That ain't going right back to Haiti.
On Labor Day? It ain't been on Labor
Day. All right, stop it there. So yeah, let's unpack that. So basically, this is the something we're going to see where, people are joking or cussing each other on, in some debate online, and then they take it to like an inward diaspora war, and what they'll do is they'll say truthful statements, but turn it into like a kind of got you, where it's like, the Haitian Revolution is a very important history in Black history in general, and the Haitians should be proud of that. Once again, the African Americans have a very big culture. They are one of the most influential cultures on the planet. So this kind of like using these two massive Black important historical things to stunt on each other isn't going to work. And we definitely want to stay away from that. I've seen this in Speaker's Corner when a guy from this country fights this guy from this country, and they want to. They call each other names and try to undermine progress. And they try to undermine like very important figures from nations. This is definitely error-prone behavior. I would definitely stay away from that. Try to empower each other with people who do constructive things that we learn from. Definitely Toussaint Overture and the Haitian Revolution definitely are very important. And John Jacques and all the other all the other generals and people came together. Amazing. Just like the African Americans and the many revolutionary people that's been there and continues to be there. So probably best not to do that anymore. But we'll unpack that. So what I think we've now moved on to the topic at hand. I could be wrong. Let me check. Oh no. Before I get there, this is now connected to legacy. So Umar and Nick Cannon. I think I haven't seen the full interview, but Umar and Nick Cannon was on the same show or his show, and he asked him questions about Black love and this kind of stuff, which is very important. but this connects to Lost Legacy, you see, so that's why I have to play it. So let's see if let's play both of the videos. Let's see what it says.
And marry outside of their race more than every other group of men per capita.
And I'm not making this as an excuse or an example.
No, not at all. But I'm saying that cannot be attributed purely to coincidence. But I'm loyal to the black woman because she suffered the most.
Very important word there, loyal. This is a good branding word.
At the hands of this society and this planet. And because I come from a black woman, I have a special obligation towards her. And when I look at when our successful black men tend to marry out or reproduce outside of the community, on some level, it can be insulting to our sisters.
Okay.
I consider it insulting to the community as a whole. As someone who works in the school, I've had to entertain conversations with black girls who are asking Dr. Umar, is there something wrong with me? Because it appears that when you all make it, y'all always abandon the community in pursuit of your spouse. But black men marry.
Part one, let's look at down to the part two as well. Very important conversation. Oh, too many videos. Let me get rid of some of these. Get the Levi Roots one and the diaspora one as well. Let's open again, see if it works today. Number 2. There it is, Nick, number 2. There it is.
To take his side and say, the statement I made, I said, in Travis dating Kylie, at no point do I think he was attempting to make a cultural statement. And in that, I think it got perceived.
But is ignorance an excuse for irresponsibility?
You asked that question before.
Yes.
I think it was perceived as him saying, but I was actually saying, I do the same thing where like, I'm doing it for love.
Okay.
I'm not doing it to be right here to say I'm doing it for my community or any of that stuff. I'm doing it because I love this woman. Now, now it may be,
and I don't doubt
and it may be ignorant because like, oh, I'm not thinking about what the community is gonna think. I'm doing it because, man, I fell in love with this woman regardless of her complexion, regardless of her race, regardless of her upbringing.
But do you have an obligation to the community though? You married her because you loved her.
No,
but do you have
because I get this all the time. You can't talk black and sleep white. You can't be black in the streets and white in the sheets.
When we look at childhood actors,
yes,
you are the most prominent, successful black childhood actor probably in American history. People think of Nick Cannon. You understand?
Right.
So to all the beautiful chocolate black girls of the same complexion as your beautiful daughter Onyx, and even those of every other complexion, yours, mine, and so forth, for you to be the king of childhood actors, which means our daughters love you. They talk about you. I heard kids talk about you the other day in positive manner. Do you not feel any guilt at all for the fact you did not provide them with that wholesome example of showing them how much a black woman deserved to be loved on by not choosing one yourself?
So I've got to unpack this in many ways because sitting on a psychologist's couch, yes, I feel guilty.
Okay.
But I feel guilty for multiple things.
Okay.
And what I've learned about, there's nothing wrong with guilt. Doesn't mean shame.
I agree with you.
Guilt means accountability.
I agree with you. I totally agree.
And I say that to say, so symbolism, what our community sees, who they hold up high and revere, is all real. So I always talk about equanimity in that sense of where I must be responsible to if I faltered in this way.
Okay. Nope, that's the end of the video there. Very important questions, my brother Umar, and that's what you want to do. You like it's the thing is when you start researching methods of how black people can collectively progress, the black family is one of the triple triumphs, and it's something you have to unpack, and that means construct a black man and construct a black woman. So you know, whenever we see a mass amount of fluctuations in one area, i.e., black men not marrying black women, or black men becoming rich and heighten the chance of them not marrying a Vin. And we look at behavior patterns on the continent and diaspora, we see similar things. Then it has to always be more than just love. I love this person. There's some psychology going on. There's some pathology that needs to be addressed. But either way, these collective behaviors do not work in the best interest of Black people. So we have to promote what does, and that is constructive Black love. That's why Black Families is one of the trilogies of triumph. You see, fantastic.
Raven.
Yes, family.
Raven, is there more to this video? I want to hear Nick's Cannon's answers. I want to hear his line of reasoning.
I'll see if I can, because this was a clip I got from YouTube or something, so I haven't actually heard the full thing, but it's definitely something I'm going to sit down and watch, and maybe we might unpack it next week if I can take more snips from it. But this is all I've got this week, and I just about found it, to be honest, right? You see, interesting talk there. I'll see if I can find it for next week, but this is why it's important that we have brothers like Umar and others who have this conversation, because I think we always tend to talk about being mistreated by police or a history of enslavement or something, which is important, I guess. But the choices we make is just as important, if not more important, from today's standpoint. And that is, what do we value? And that's why I keep saying that when Black men talk to Black men, hold Black men accountable. Do not frame or center Black women in the conversation. You keep it on Black men to men or Black men to non-Black men. You see? So you have to say, well, how comes that you say you fall in love? Well, how comes other men, when they get rich, they don't fall in love with your women? How comes we don't see a high ratio of that? And could that be because they value building and family at a higher rate than you, right? And why is it? You can ask as well. Why is it that when you look at Black men in the diaspora, why is it that most of them are picking women from the group that most oppress them, right? Why is that a thing? Even down to the presidents and prime ministers of lands, where they are marrying in from the people group that have benefited from a downfall of that particular tribe or ethnic group. And also, have you asked you say you love someone, but before you say you love someone, have you asked them what are their views on economics? What are their views on reparations? What are their views on Black people working on with Black people? Now you say love, and you haven't said economics. Is it possible that you can marry her for love, but give her a contract that when you die, all your money goes to your sister, but all your love goes to her? See, these are the questions we have to have, because once again, when we talk about white rightening, and that is a philosophy of white people trying to fix the past, what they've done. And one of the philosophies from white rightening is love has no color, and don't judge a person by the color. This kind of fantastic Disney stuff, and obviously being subjugated, Black people have adopted this concept that be colorblind, don't do things based upon people group. Now that philosophy works well for a dominant society that has spent over 400 years built on the backs of other groups. But when you are that other group that's in the bottom, you need to focus on self. You can't focus on this universal inwards lovely jubbly kind of rainbow concept of it, right? So this is why we have to have these conversations. We have to have these conversations. Very important. And that's why I tend to not be invited to most of the cookouts, because I'm going to have those conversations. And I recommend we all do it, because Black love is important. It's a revolutionary act. If you don't know, now you know. So anyway, that's going to segue us into our very important topic, which is the name one: Lost Legacy versus Black Bequest. We discuss how rich Black men lose their legacy. And we're going to jump into the Puff Daddy story. For those who don't know, I'm sure you do anyway, but if you don't know, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, I think they call him now. He's under some scrutiny. But this video here, it's just the first minute, right? But this video here is one of the most important videos I've heard in 13 years, maybe more. This is so important. It's 1 minute of an interview that happened on some news channel. And I'm very fortunate that I downloaded it. And when I showed it to my friends, it seemed to go over their head. When I say friends, I mean friend, really. But it stood up for me, and I'm going to break it down after I hear it. I've only heard 1 minute. I didn't even have to hear any more. Let's break it down. Let's see if you guys pick up on what I picked up on.
You did 10 years ago about his.
So basically, it's the news. There's a lady, and she's talking to a guy called Flad. He's got like a channel where he reviews Black men, and they make his platform very rich.
Legacy. I want to play a quick soundbite of that. Take a look.
I feel that you're someone that's not only concerned with what's happening right now, but with your legacy as well. What is the legacy that you're looking to leave behind?
That I changed the world and I have fun doing it.
Okay, Vlad, I need to ask you when we come back after the break, if you think Diddy is headed the way of R. Kelly or Michael Jackson, or if he might actually be able to rehabilitate like Johnny Depp or Robert Downey Jr. Vlad's going to be right back with that answer after the break.
Okay, so I pause it there. So people just watch that and they let that slide, right? But I'm going to take it back once more, just see if you can hear it. Then I'm going to talk about what I heard and what maybe you guys heard. This is the
Diddy is headed the way of R. Kelly.
I'll let this revert for 5 seconds. Okay, one more time.
Diddy is headed the way of R. Kelly or Michael Jackson, or if he might actually be able to rehabilitate like Johnny Depp or Robert Downey Jr. Vlad's going to be right back with that answer.
This is amazing. So what we have here, we have a European man who's married to a black woman who gets most of his money from black people. They call him a culture vulture, but I'm not going to tame that. I'm just giving the framework of what he's known for, and well done to him and his success. He's on some European kind of news station, and they're reviewing the process of the alleged trials or crimes of P. Diddy. Now, in that, they gave two exact. She goes, "Can he is he going to fall by the wayside or go down?" And she mentioned R. Kelly, who's been arrested, and Michael Jackson, who died, and nothing's happened as far as where. So I don't know why she mentioned Michael Jackson. This is very interesting. But then she gave the name of two European people who allegedly have done horrible things or whatever, and now they redeem themselves. Apparently, she never mentioned Weinstein or anyone else, or the guy who allegedly hanged himself in the prison, right? She mentioned these two who are allegedly have bounced back. I forgot their names. Robbie Downey Jr. or something like this. I think it's Iron Man or something, right? And this is a very interesting way to. This is what you have to really see about how the media frame black people. So here's what it is. I'm going to pretend that Puffy is guilty. Let's pretend he's guilty, right? Whether he is or not is irrelevant. What the case study we're doing is seeing how guilty black men are treated versus guilty white men or non-black men, right? And so this is where you can actually see white supremacy or anti-black racism, right? Where the crimes are the same, it doesn't matter. The black will always be punished more. There's videos, maybe in the next one I'll play, of like army-based transport with armored guards raiding his house. I'm not too sure if that happened to any of the Europeans named, but it's very interesting. Like that, this is what they're doing. This legacy concept is important. Remember the Vlad asks him, how do you want your legacy to be remembered? So they're all aware about this concept of being remembered for doing great things, right? And it seems that for many black men, especially ones who are trying to buy resources and companies and stuff, this kind of legacy destruction seems to be something we see quite consistently, unfortunately. Let's look at the second video now. This is more of the testimony from. Oh, come on! We'll get rid of this. Remove. Get rid of this one. Remove. And blah 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 blah. So yeah. So this one. This is more focused on the victim. So this is a case study. Well, this is more the backdrop of what's happening. But I thought that was interesting.
Mine is horrific. Like, why didn't you say something then? Because we just want to live. We want to be happy. And we really want to forget the trauma.
Diddy's former backup dancer Tanika Ray speaking out.
Oh, there you go. Hold on.
In the wake of federal.
What is that? That's an army truck or something. Why would you pull up to a person's house in this kind of military gear? I haven't seen this for Weinstein or the other guys. Could be wrong, but I've never seen this for army kind of Call of Duty equipment. Just pulling up outside a person's house for allegations of a bygone age. Don't get me wrong. Any mistreatment that anyone suffers, we are on the side of the victims without question. And if the gentleman is guilty, then he must be punished. But once again, we're looking at from a case study as how are black men punished versus non-black men, and does the crime suit the punishment suit the crime, all this kind of stuff, right? And how are the guilty treated? And we just saw a video where two guilty people were seen as reformed, while black people were used. Michael Jackson, who has not been proven of anything, is used as this is what you don't want to do, and you're finished. Just kind of listening.
Home raids, sex trafficking allegations, and speculation the embattled music mogul could face criminal charges.
Since then, I've been like, yep, I have a lot of stories, y'all. Maybe I'll write a book one day.
Law enforcement had enough to get the search warrant. They maybe even have enough to get an indictment, and if so, I expect Diddy to be arrested in a matter of days and no more than weeks.
So there's that.
I have never talked about this publicly.
Tanika reacting to this interview from Joy Reid's MSNBC series on Instagram. Culture critic Torre claiming Diddy fired a family member after allegedly refusing his sexual advances.
Years later, they finally came out, and this a male, and said that Puff had said, "Come home, stay the night with me, or the internship is over."
Oh, yeah. You know, we all have stories. Seriously, we all have stories. Mine is horrific, and only 5 people know it. And I probably will never tell it.
Tanika, who's also worked in entertainment journalism, referencing an alleged experience with Diddy from 1996 in her caption, adding, "Nothing that is happening is surprising."
And mind you, I then interviewed him many times. And I also am very intimately aware that you tell your truth and you become victimized over and over and over and over and over and over. But it just is so traumatizing that women just want to live every day and feel safe.
Can't nobody hold me down.
This comes amid Diddy's looming legal saga. His attorney calling the Homeland Security search warrants, quote, "a witch hunt with excessive show of force and hostility that led to a premature rush to judgment."
The government likely has a very strong case against Diddy. They don't execute these types of search warrants until they have talked to witnesses, have gathered evidence, and they believe they have an ironclad case. Not only that, they have to get a federal judge to sign off on the search warrant. Ultimately, I think Diddy is going to be indicted by a grand jury. If Diddy waives his right to a speedy trial, he could potentially push the case out a year or more. And Diddy has essentially unlimited funds to defend this case, and I expect him to litigate it very aggressively.
Back in Tanika's message, she explains why now was the time to share her story, hinting someday she might put pen to paper.
And when we revisit and revisit, we live in a state of victimhood, and nobody wants to live there. So for those who are like, why aren't you saying something then? Because we just want to live. We want to be happy. We really want to forget the trauma. So there's that. Maybe I'll write a book one day.
All right, let's go. So let's go to the thing. So we're tackling Lost Legacy. Like that. So we have the inheritance version, but the achievement version of the Lost Legacy, and it's doing unethical, error-prone actions that can be used to undermine the memory of great public achievements. Now, this is alleged. So, but I'm saying that for us, how we can mitigate against this kind of stuff is making sure that when we are living, we are not trying to mistreat people and do error-prone behavior, because if we do get successful, our legacy will be tarnished. It will be used as a weapon in the media, as we're seeing today, if these allegations are true. So this is something that we just should have as templates. Like, yeah, let's not do that. But as you saw there, we saw this gentleman's going through these problems here. We covered the lost legacy concept of inheritance, meaning making sure we circulate our wealth and marrying our group and this kind of stuff, but also how we behave when we have authority. We saw brothers like Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, P. Diddy. I'm trying to think. Russell Simmons as another one. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I'll have to really think of some names. But you see what's happened to them.
Did you say?
Say again, Robert.
You said Bill Cosby already, yeah?
Yeah, Bill Cosby. Here's one of the main ones. But you see how quickly these things happen. Once again, it seems to always stem around sexuality. And this is why you want to be very careful with who you're intimate with and how you engage. It could become very problematic, as it seems to be all these scenarios. But yeah, this is the Black Bear broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast, Empress Kush. Black Batman.
Black Batman family.
Black Batman. I'm Kush.
Black Batman, bro. How are you?
I'm good, but still,
Good.
Yes, we're living in very, very interesting times, boy. Very interesting times. But you know what I was gonna say though? Do you think we're learning? Do you think we're learning our lesson? Because look, if they've got all those people, yeah, famous black people,
Yes.
Including some of them who's even past here, like Tupac Shakur,
Yes.
well, the same kind of sexual kind of misdeeds and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Are we? We're not very protected as a group if we don't, learn that we're under attack.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
I think your mic might have jumped there, but what we heard is learn we're under attack. We heard that much.
Yeah. We're under attack. If we're not guarding ourselves from those type of attacks, we're destined to repeat it like over generation after generation. They can play upon us with those attacks, and we can still, fall to the wayside and paint our legacy by not being able to block those type of incoming attacks that would otherwise other groups of people can defend off what we don't. We're not able to defend off those attacks. So
very true. This is something we're seeing, and we kind of need to have a step-by-step guide of what to do and not to do just to minimize it, really, because it's getting quite prolific. I mean, even we've covered before with the gentleman who did the Nate Parker, who did the Birth of a Nation film. He was a gentleman with his black friend 20 years ago. He had an intimate relationship with a European woman, them and the two guys together. And then she allegedly said that this was sexual mistreatment or some, don't know, you can't say the words on the internet, but forced kind of intimacy. And they went to court and they proved that it wasn't the case. And then 20 years later, people have brought that up to try to undermine the film, to try to limit it, and obviously ruin his legacy. He himself is a good brother, but once again, even though he was caught in that time with the European lady, he still has gone on to marry another European lady. So that's kind of lost legacy we're talking about as well. So even though he almost went to jail all his life for something he allegedly didn't do, he still has gone on to marry a European and make profits off a film that's about black freedom from Europeans. And no doubtly, he will be sharing this economics with his wife. No doubt, we're pointing this out because we are talking about lost legacy and how it works. And, I always say that whenever you marry into different groups, ask them what's their views on reparations, find out their political views, find out, are they happy with black people helping black people on black issues? Because, a lot of people, when Black Lives Matter was marching and this kind of stuff, a lot of mixed relationships went through challenges because they never knew their partners had such views. So, this is what it is. And we can't allow black people to keep on making success simulations of, relationships, because that's what they'll do, when in fact there's much challenges that needs to be unpacked. But yeah, so we found that we're dealing with lost legacy versus black bequests. And we discussed how rich black men lose their legacy. And we were using this news story of Puff Daddy as a case study. And as the weeks go by, we'll be unpacking. I'm sure it'll go on for many weeks. And I'm sure there'll be many, 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 many women and men, this is a thing, and men coming out saying of alleged abuse that they would have at the hands of P. Diddy. So we have to wait and see. But once again, we want constructive outcomes, and we make sure that victims, if they are, that they have a nice solution and they're at ease. But people are innocent until proven guilty, I believe, for the most part. But yeah, so the panel, anything you'd like to unpack on that, or anything we should be going? Let's bring this on again. Welcome back, Brother Camus. I'll say it wrong. Forgive me.
Yo, sir, how you doing?
Very good, family.
Bless.
Good to see you back. It's always good to hear your voice. So yeah, today we're dealing with lost legacy. So for those who are new, who just logged in, let me break down the lost legacy concept. So, hold on, we'll come back to that in a bit. What it is there's actions that black people do that can actually make us lose assets, lose money, assets, ownership, this kind of stuff, intellectual properties, this kind of thing. So we can call that process lost legacy. We can say that is a lost legacy process, and we want to stay away from that, and we can use it as a term. Now, bequest is the same word as legacy, but we want to say black bequest, meaning we want to inherit stuff. So whenever black people marry black women, become constructive, start up an industry, regain intellectual property, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. We could call that black bequest, and that's what we want. We want black bequest versus lost legacy. We want more black bequest and less lost legacy, right? So we now have a term, a framework that we're trying to push, and we can break it down from inheritance versions and achievement versions. So when we look at brother P Diddy, he's as far as I'm aware, he's a brother who seems to always be marrying black women, or at least partnering with black women when it comes to children and this kind of stuff, right? As far as I'm aware, but so where his actual lost legacy might come in, unfortunately, as same with Bill Cosby, is the achievement version, where doing unethical, error-prone actions that can be used to undermine the memory of great public achievements. These are all alleged, by the way. Obviously, Bill Cosby has been proven innocent, and Puff Daddy is yet to be charged, I'm assuming, or convicted, I should say. So it's all, and obviously, there's Michael Jackson people keep bringing up, as has not. That's just something else, right? But yeah. So this is something that we have to just really train, that how you behave can be used to undermine your global legacy, especially if you've done much. So we want to make sure you don't have a lost legacy in that achievement area. You see, so that's so you might have been good in the sense of your inheritance, as in you've married correctly, and your kids and your wife have part of your stake and share, but you can still be limited by how you behave, interactive in public, and this is what we're learning very, very sharply. You see,
Raven, I was going to say, like, to the panel, yeah, our identity is so watered down that we're struggling to even find the meaning of positive role models or black positive images. Because right now, as we speak, the Muslim world is celebrating Ramadan, and then not too long after, we're going to be celebrating, the Christian world is going to be celebrating Easter. And in both of these worlds, which are very dominant in the black, so-called black nations, black communities, the black nations don't control these narratives. They don't control Christianity, and they don't control Islam. But there's other groups that are benefactors of these religious cultural festivities. And so, because we're always at the bottom, I can't see, if we don't do enough to revolutionize our own culture and our own ideas, yeah, we're going to remain at the bottom. Because no one ain't really giving you anything out here. And I'm seeing it today. Before I even came on this live, I saw communities out there, primarily Asians, because of Muslims and Ramadan, and they had like community slash concepts, community slash family slash ideology that they can rally behind. And these are important. These are very important at the grassroots level.
Very true. This is very true, bro. We good phrase for the. So that's why, for those joining, that's why we it's a recognition that black people, because of the M.A.A.F.A, which we're covering, because of this great catastrophe, many black people historically find themselves in different lands of different cultures, or updated cultures, or interpolated cultures, and sometimes it's very challenging to unite, because people will use these new ideas to distance themselves from each other. So Black Betterment comes as a solution to this, as in, because we understand that once a religious pillar has been set, you can't really change someone. But what you can do is you can give them a framework or a lifestyle that they can work in tandem with whatever religious group they have, right? So that's why we know that a Muslim, a Christian, a Jewish person, an atheist, all the other kind of words, whatever, that you can be all those things, but still have a lifestyle. So you can do those things and have a lifestyle of veganism, and you can have a lifestyle of Black Betterment. So it doesn't contradict your overall guiding force that people seem to be born with when they're young. They're given these pillars, right? So that's what Black Betterment comes as, that concept. And what we're doing in this show is we're reforming and creating those templates that make that concept much more tighter. So we moved on to something called the M.A.A.F.A pledge, and that's for the M.A.A.F.A is our variant of the Holocaust, as a unique word that describes something that's happened to us. And we understand it's a great catastrophe in Swahili, and it's centuries of long enslaved, murdered millions of Africans by Europeans and others. And what I'll be pushing forward, and hopefully we can adapt it, is saying that why don't we have a M.A.A.F.A pledge? And that is, and it stands for, we use acronyms here: melanated ancestral anguish focus almeration, right? Almeration. And that is the saying that because we've gone through so much pain and trauma and such in a bad way, our ancestors, before we could do anything else for anyone else, we must fix ourselves. And that's our pledge. And that's in Black families, Black health, and Black economics. You see? So we have to make sure we marry our families and constructive, we're healthy, and that we create businesses, institutions, and legacies that we can pass down as assets. And we do that by having a M.A.A.F.A pledge, as in I won't do anything I will fix my community first because of the M.A.A.F.A, and now I have a pledge for that. And the tools I use to do that pledge is known as Black Betterment, the lifestyle. So I've made a pledge. So whenever you're on the internet and they go, why don't you want to marry non-Black women? Why? And because obviously that's what happens, that you put pressure on Black men. I've seen it very many times to not marry Black women. They'll go, oh, no, what it is because of the M.A.A.F.A. You know, your ancestors who killed my ancestors, oh, terrible. Because of that kind of stuff, I have an obligation to kind of fix the legacy of that. So I'm going to do a M.A.A.F.A pledge, meaning I must do activities that push Black people forward. And how I choose to do it is a lifestyle known as Black Betterment, which is Black people helping Black people on Black issues. And so that means I have to practice Black families. And that means I'm going to find a constructive Black woman to give all my assets to. Blah, blah, that kind of stuff. So you have a framework now to utilize whenever you're in public and you feel demonized for fixing your own issues. That's what we do here. We give you a framework that makes helping Black people just that little bit more easier. Oh, yes, that's what it is. We're joined by Empress Kush, Brother Musa, and Kamar. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong because I'm a bad guy. But welcome, family. Anything you want to say? The platform is yours as usual. Your voice matters. There you go. Well, I think everyone's muted at the moment. Well, what we could do is while they're thinking about what they want to ask, if anything, we can go through some of the videos we haven't seen. I think there might be one or two. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Look at this one.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to play Senegal's got a new, younger president, and I think because Africa has a lot of youth, and they seem to be behind this guy. So that was interesting to cover. And I think people are happy because he's got 2 wives, which is always interesting. So yeah, I just thought I'd play that video.
Bassirou Diomaye Faye. So who is he, and why did young Senegalese in particular vote for him? Aged 44, Faye will be Africa's youngest elected president. He represents the African Patriots of Senegal for work ethics and fraternity. This is the party of iconic Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko. Sonko himself was disqualified from running for election over a criminal case that many think was politically motivated. But Sonko and his supporters are now celebrating Faye's victory over President Macky Sall's preferred candidate, Amadou Ba, and his ruling Alliance for the Republic. Faye's campaign promises included stamping out corruption, reducing the power of the president, and creating a sovereign currency for Senegal. That means ditching the French-controlled CFA franc. The CFA franc grants France a direct say in Senegal's economic decisions, requires the West African country to hold half of its reserves in the French treasury, and allows France to determine the value of the currency in relation to the euro. So for the first time since flag independence, Senegal could be on the road to economic independence. If Faye delivers, Senegal will become the latest African nation to break exploitative relations with a former colonizer. And that's something all Africans can vote for.
There you go. Empress Kush, I think you had something before the video played. Did you want to say it?
Yeah. First of all, big up for that video. Definitely something for all of us to look further into. But in regards to one of his pledges in regards to the franc and getting rid of it is a good sign. So yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye on him. So thanks for that, bro.
Of course.
Very important that we have our ears on the continent, especially with the new wave that's going on there. So thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Definitely.
I did want to talk about Diddy, but I just I just felt like you just sprang something quite great, and then I'll go back to Diddy. But
no, you should. No, go back.
I just find it interesting in regards to the Diddy. That's why I just kind of kept quiet, and I've seen some of the comments in the chat in regards to the whole Diddy issue. And I guess maybe only today or yesterday I've seen the new kinds of growing sentiment. I guess the people that I'm following have quite a militant stance on Diddy and a Diddy situation. So I've seen now that, I don't know, I think it was the only video I kind of saw was Slim Thug, and then after I saw his video, a whole bunch of like people that kind of differing views in regards to Diddy, and I just kind of find it interesting, especially like the Slim Thug video where he kind of is calling out for the community to stop laughing at what's happening to Diddy and stop rejoicing in what's happening to Diddy. and this is supposed to be like for the community, for the culture, this plea. And I just kind of find that kind of interesting. Because I know you was talking about the like the way that they're treating black celebs compared to the white ones. And so, and I do see that, but I kind of look at it with the same eyes that I'm looking at Major. Jonathan Major was going through what he was going through.
Yeah.
The whole Diddy thing doesn't, to be honest with you, Diddy, what's happening with some of these people, this is my whole generation, like growing up. These are music that I can probably sing back, and I've not probably heard them for 10 years, 20 years, and I could probably sing them back. So with someone like Diddy growing up, he's always had a kind of bad reputation in regards to business, but I didn't believe it was the kind of extremes and details that we're seeing now. And then to see, because if you actually look into the case, a lot of it's with his sons as well. So I'm not pleased with this. It's not that I'm overjoyed that this is happening, but at the same time, I understand that this needs to happen, if that makes any sense. And the whole calling on the culture to protect Diddy, I don't think is smart right now. I don't think this whole, I just think we need to hold back a bit as a culture, because we complain that these are the people that people idolize, and these are the people that, are a problem for our culture, which we all agree on. Then when it's time for their bring down, we should just probably stand back and let it come down.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I do hear that. I think from this kind of standpoint, when it comes to victims and stuff, I would say that I'm automatically on any side of a victim who's been abused if something has happened, right? So I look at this as a case study as looking at how black people are treated versus non-black people.
Yeah.
And that's why this video is very key, because how this video was framed, this particular one, is how I suspect it is framed generally, right? Where the black people are the book. So let's say all these men are guilty of the same crime. It's the black men that are the boogeymen, and the others are the reformed who recognize the error of their ways and can move on. Even though actually the people they've mentioned, at least one of them hasn't been charged of anything, right? So it's just an interest. So I'm from that.
It is. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, Homeland Security going in. You know, I seen that his sons are getting dragged out in handcuffs. You know, he's not been charged yet. You can do all of this to him. They're making it public. Even the clip that you're showing, you've got a man who literally, I will say that it definitely is a vulture, a culture vulture. He's had him on his show to make money off of him, and now he's the selected person that gets chosen in regards to black culture to talk about it. With, you know, again, he's literally taking over the whole thing in regards to, you know, you're asking Vlad in regards to hip hop news. You know, he's effectively doing what people have been for years been warning people that he's going to do, and he's doing it, and he's getting accepted as mainstream to do it. And I get all of that, and I just think it comes down to what we always originally say. Once you step your foot into there, this is the stuff that's going to happen. So I feel that's the difficult part, because when people, because the same with Russell Simmons. So the Russell Simmons one with the lady who, you know, she wasn't trying to be a singer or anything like that. She was an AR. I think she was within AR, you know, she was responsible for getting some great songs together. You know, she was a working woman within her rights. So the things with Russell and it was just the proximity, and it was the ego and the narcissism in these men that thought that they could do that. And some of these black men were doing it to black women, right? So now it's coming out in mainstream. This is going to happen. This is going to happen where we're going to see cases or scenarios where the black man's going to get beaten down a bit more. We're going to understand that because it's a black man, they're going to use it and run with it. And we're going to see the covert and overt racism in it. That's going to happen. This is why it's best to not do that. Do you know what I mean, bro? So I just think that it's tricky, but I understand what you're saying, and it needs to be highlighted. I just think it also needs to be mentioned that once you step into these realms, this is going to happen. You know, for Diddy to this is what is going to happen now, and it's going to be a battle of minds and hearts that's going to get pulled. You know, we're going to see things like this, and certain people are going to be like, this is that, and this is that, and maybe you know, this is racially charged, this is this, that, and the other, and you know, it can get pulled to make us. You're going to fight for the righteousness within what you see him, but the overall thing is not righteousness if the man did these things to us. I hope I'm making sense. I'm just saying that there's going to be a lot of games like this that's going to be played within us in the community, where I'm going to look at this, understand. Like when I watched this video, I understood what you were saying. I saw it exactly what you were saying when you said, you know, did the family see anything? And a lot of us saw it. And I can see the racism in that. But I understand also that did he put himself in this scenario?
Question.
Go ahead.
Question for the panel. Remember, yeah, we haven't recovered from whatever history did to us, innit? So, on the strength of that, yeah, would you say that us, or even Puff Daddy included, was he in his right mind from the jump anyway?
Yeah, I mean, come on, brother. Come on. You want to say something?
Yeah, man, this is what it is, man. In the United States, the government entity and the media, they're just a bunch of hypocrites. The same culture that is pervasive from the beginning of the founding of the country is the same culture that he is subscribed to. The problem with him is these people like him think they get enough money, it makes them white. No, you are always going to get your N-word wake-up call, regardless of when it happens. But again, I mean, if you come to America and you just watch, if you watch one news cycle, it will make black men look like we are the most savage, most disgusting, most egregious creature on the planet. There's always been, since the inception of the creation of America, an attack on the black male image. And the fact that we as black men continue to allow this to happen and are not outraged about it shows that there's something wrong with us. And the thing is, the media here is so powerful that they got black men accepting the image and embracing it.
Well said, Kamal. Well said, Kamal. I was saying, like, we've been, because of history and because of the trauma, generational trauma, I think even before the Puff Daddies and, you know, whoever have you become famous, as black people, our thinking is warped anyway. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but my thing is as well, this is what I said about this is exactly the same to me as what I said about the Will Smith thing, right? When you're in that kind of position as well, like what the brother said, I think it was him that said it earlier in the chats as well. I think some of this behavior, they've been doing this, the white men have been doing this forever anyway. So once you become, you're already a minority in life, but then if you're a Diddy, a Will Smith, a Russell Simmons, you're seriously are a minority. So the culture now that you have now come into through wealth, you're just going to adopt. It don't make no sense if you're like 2-3 people out of 100 and think you 1, 2, 3 black men are going to make your own culture within this kind of realms of wealth where you're living within a certain postcode, you're banking in certain places, you're rubbing shoulders, you're getting invited to certain places, and you aspire to be higher within there as well. So you're going to just adopt these things. This is what happens. That's why I kind of think it is our wake up. It's a wake up call for everyone, because before, certain of these things when I was growing up was just, it was almost like conspiracy. Some of this stuff when we was growing up, if you'd say it out loud to certain people, they'll tell you it's conspiracy. Now it's all coming out. The sex parties, the videos of it, everything, all the stuff you heard. So this is why I think it's important for us to just sit back and watch, not sit back and get triggered.
Some people are still thinking it's conspiracy.
But see, in America, it transcends wealth. American culture is sexually deviant. So what happens when you get money? All that does is just magnifies the pathology that's already there with the sexual deviance. The thing with them trying to put it on the media and blast it and send tanks and military vehicles to dude's house when there's a million other things the FBI could be doing, but they worried about somebody that's quote unquote sex trafficking, which that's not happening if they try to railroad him with that. But I'm not no proponent of him. He's a sexual deviant. He's just another pawn in the game. But again, they continuously create these Hegelian dialectics where they create the problem and then they act like they come with a solution. It's basic media tactics that they've been using. And the thing with me is, bro, why do we keep falling for this? You said it's a wake up call, but it's how many wake up calls do we need? It's a wake up call after wake up call after wake up call. They can't publicly lynch you, so they're gonna lynch you on TV, which they do 24/7 during the news cycle in America.
I like what you said there. Very good statement. Very, very powerful statement there, Kamal. I agree with what he said, because he said that the culture is already deviant. And when they get money, it just magnifies whatever it is that was going on. Because look, do you remember what happened with recently with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen? I think it's Scottie Pippen's. I think Michael Jordan's son is sleeping with Scottie Pippen's wife or ex-wife. Does that ring a bell to anyone?
Yeah, I heard that story. Yeah, something like that.
All right. I'm trying to say to you, see all these type of antics and that. This is commonplace, isn't it? It's commonplace, and it's not just on a famous level. It's on a non-famous level, because, like the brother said, the culture is chaotic and is deviant anyway. So you can't just put all that pressure on one man and say, yeah, Puff Daddy, he's that way. But the whole nation is engulfed in this type of behavior. Is what I'm trying to say to you, and it's been like that for a few generations. So as far back as we can remember. And go on.
This nation, but that's what people don't. This nation is built on hypocrisy and it runs on hypocrisy. You can't have no nation that says, liberty for all, freedom for all," but you got people enslaved, and it's the same sentiments are prevalent in every area of society. The dynamics just change shape a little bit. It's the same thing. The same dynamics that existed back in 1865 are the same ones that existed in 1791. Is the same ones that existed to 2024. It just takes a different shape. That's all it does. And we continuously keep falling for the okie doke. And I don't know what it's going to take for people to realize, in general, that to stop being naive and to actually realize that nothing's changed for real. I don't know what it's going to take, but I'll do my part to try to at least get the youth in order.
Well, you have mentioned that before, and that's the idea here, where it's like if we can make a difference to the new generation and put sort of like the seeds sowed early, so they minimize on mistakes that the generation above has done, and we have a black Betterment plan for them or a blueprint for them. I think that's important. I mean, some of these people they've been in their ways for many years, and a lot of them, the legacy of what they've done, it's in the hands of people who dislike them, who are just waiting to just release this stuff. If they want to buy a asset, if they want to get off a contract, or whatever,
Well
these
said.
are we use. You see, so that's why we're saying with what we're dealing with here that what we want to do is if we can teach. I mean, if we can let people know how legacies work and how you can have a lost legacy, and it's a two-stage. Who you marry and who you hire and that kind of stuff is one. But then also how you behave and interact with other people groups and your own groups is key, because if you're just mistreating your own group, whenever you get in trouble, your group ain't not going to defend you because you've got a history of mistreating people on different spectrums of life, and this is something that we have to be very, very cognitive of.
What's interesting? Black rich America is in the pocket of these people. The Snoop Dogs, the Jay-Z's, they're in the pockets. They're rich, but they're not free. They're in the pockets of these people.
Well, yeah.
I don't think rich Black America, the Michael Jordans, I don't think they know how to get away. I think they're just as trapped as rich Black America is just as trapped as poor Black America. Does that make sense?
There is no such thing as rich Black America, though. That's the thing. It's rich individuals, but I mean, even within their wealth, anybody that's wealthy in the United States that's Black got it from entertainment. You're not gonna find anybody that was a master of industry, and if they were a segment of a master industry, somehow it's intertwined in the entertainment. So, I mean, it is what it is. All we can do is make sure that the youth don't fall for the same stuff. That's all we can do. Majority of people that's 25 and up is most times set in their ways. But I mean, when you provide different concepts, some people will see things a different way, which hopefully that will change their viewpoint on things.
But come on, remember, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett's children is born into this. Jay-Z and Beyonce's children is born into this. Kanye West, I see him standing with his daughter, and they're going to be born into this. Their children are going to be born into these positions. I mean, how are they going to walk away from all of this when they're born into? They're 10 years old and they're already going to all the award shows. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same way. Detroit Red or Malcolm X was you feel me? He was a hustler, gangster, all that. But again, when you are an honest person and you come into contact with the truth and you can't deny it, then you change your behavior. So if those people have it within their genetic code or mind frame to hear the truth and actually change their behavior, then they will.
That's a very good point.
To me, I think we need to get way more scientific with it. Like we need to start breaking down genome to see if the people that's been prominent in our community that's been black betterers have some type of genetic code, and we need to identify that genetic code to see if it all coincides with one another, and then we need to get them people together, bro.
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying, but it sounds like that genetic code. It sounds like you're looking for a Tupac Shakur, and a Tupac is a rare.
No, I'm not saying one person. Like I'm saying, like once you see like that genetic breakdown, you will see that those type of characteristics. And when you any aspect of them characteristics, whatever aspect of life that they're going to get in, their leadership is going to show. So you got to get those type of people the right information, and then you build that's the foundation of people that's going to change. Of that 2.5%, the black open door black elite.
Very true. This is what we do here, and this is like by creating those kind of tick boxes, it filters. So what you'll find is many people will be put off with certain kind of strict kind of rule sets on what you're trying to achieve, but then that it filters to a few who actually it resonates with them. The example was like a brother like Malcolm X who was led into a very destructive life early on. But when he actually came across a person who was in prison, gave him insight of a better way of living, it resonated with him. And that's why we're trying to create those kind of influencers and innovators, you see? So, because like I said, the greatest black person of all time could be working in Tesco's or fishing or planting a crop or whatever, and they're oblivious to any kind of concept of how to really reverse until they talk to that one person and it connects the dots and they find their place in the bigger movement. So that's what we're trying to do. We have to make sure we're ready for them. And how you do that is we have to be constructive. We have to try to anything that doesn't work or is going to corrupt, we have to try to like reform it. One thing we find is with corruption, I go into the community and I start working with people, and some people have such a weighted destructive past that it limits them to do certain things. And everyone has a past, and that's fine. But I think sometimes by not acknowledging your past and trying to fix it, you might limit where you can go, and it has conflict with other people. So trying to be high principled and solution based is always going to be better than being error prone, and problematic. And I think that we're looking to form that open door elite where people they see the value. They see being constructive as a strategy. Like we could say it's it's good and it's divine and this kind of stuff, but really it's a good strategy, isn't it? Trying to be principled because it allows you to work further rate and it minimizes tools that can be used against you. You find that all these brothers and sisters, they're using these error-prone behaviors that they've done to control them. And when you start listening to stories behind of when people get compromised and what that people have to do because of what they've done or what they've agreed to, it becomes problematic. So yeah, it's like a complete refresh really at this point. And Black Betterment is that refresh. But we people here have to lead the way in how to be consistently constructive and and try to awaken the younger generations on the value of doing that. And that's why we write these frameworks. For those joining, we are talking about. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, brother, how do you pronounce your name?
Kamal.
Right. So I wanted to ask, brother Kamal. So your solution is focusing on the youth. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because I feel like there's a lot of problems when it comes to us as a people, and I think that's one of the problems that we've been attacked from all angles. There's a lot of pressing matters within us with its health, mental health. I did believe that children was, and I kind of still do. But I just wanted to ask you something because I've been reading a book which is really interesting. I'll come and talk about it when I finished it. But in regards to philosophy, Brother Kamal, there's a philosophy that says when a child is in a household, and it's a good household with good values, but the child is raised up in a bad area, the higher percentages that the child will probably have become like its environment. Whereas a child in a bad household, but going to so parents are neglectful, all of the typical things that would typically lead to a bad household that you could think of, right? But he's within an area which is a good area, so most of the families around him are in what we typically would be classed as a stable household, mum and dad together, able to communicate, just a decent household, and therefore the kids all go to that same school, and he's around those kids. Those kids end up probably going on to do higher education. They have access to more opportunities. So that kid in a bad household kind of just adopts what their friends are doing. They see the difference within what their friends have in their house and what's going on in his house as he goes to their houses. As he gets older, the friend is going somewhere, and as he's a friend of the friend, he gets asked to go along, and now he's got an opportunity. Perhaps it's an opportunity with a work, maybe it's an internship. Now he's in higher brackets of earning, and now he's changed his life. So, and that just keeps sticking with me. It just keeps sticking with me. It just keeps sticking with me. So, in regards to the Black Betterment concept, I just wondered, what does the family think about that?
I mean, to me, that's the point of a community. It's to offset, because not everybody's going to be sufficient parents, but it's up to the community to create that I'll say that periphery and that structure for the individuals. When the individuals falter, that they have something to fall back on. When you see bad youth or bad individuals, it's not necessarily their fault. To me, it's the community, because if you have a people that are that know better and they're not fostering a certain type of behavior, and somebody that they see is wayward, then that's on them. Like it's the African saying, if you the child that doesn't feel the warmth of the village will burn it down.
To feel the warmth. Yeah, exactly.
So, good points there. And this is, we mentioned this a few months back, where the concept of a fellowship where you have black people who practice black betterment, that kind of small few, they form in fellowships like groups and stuff, and then in those groups you're discussing how to make those kind of institutions, media, business concepts, to do just that. Because, like we say, you might have a parent who parents who are neglectful or have error-prone behavior, and they could have great influence on their children, but by those children interacting in some of the media that we make, or some of the education institutions, business magazines, or whatever it might be, then you can have influence to try to let the child know that some of the stuff is error prone, and they could be the turning point in their family household.
It's just that in our scenario, for example, in the UK, they're definitely not going out into a black betterment environment.
No. No.
And so the best that you could do is get them into something like perhaps like after school and the weekends, things like that, because I'm just kind of, it just came back to when I was just hearing you and the brothers talking in regards to what needs to be done. And it does come back to grassroots, I think, initially, in regards to setting up these things that we had at one point and we just let go. If we builded up on the Saturday schools and things like that, I don't know, we'd be in such a better position now, but I feel like we have to support the ones that are still standing and start really emphasizing on that, because they will be that environment They will be that place where if you're not getting that at home, you're not getting that probably after school with certain friends, there's this one place where you can be surrounded by, you know, because community, people and things like that's important. So yeah, I think that it just kind of, so when things like this happens with Diddy and all of that kind of things, you're just around people that are telling you and you understand what it is. It's just Hollywood. You know, it's so necessary.
I agree. And I think that also connects with, because I'm doing some research about black-owned companies, and when I get time, I'm gonna be like, we'll have certain kind of campaigns where we'll put, a black owner, his product, and his family maybe on a poster and put it out there. So my friend was saying, because I was researching Supermalt, and in the UK, in the Caribbean community, and African as well. Supermalt is very popular. I think still is.
Yeah.
And the company
It still is. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
But I was reading the history of Supermalt is they used to give it to Nigerian soldiers to I think refresh them or to boost them or something like this, and then it became very popular in the Caribbean community in the UK, very popular. But obviously, it's not owned by Africans or Caribbeans. There might be some brands. I actually looked at Arco, and I think he was covering the ginger beer brand, which is very popular, and the Jamaican ginger beer is called allegedly, and the Supermalt. And I think one of the things to do is to
The
highlight.
Supermalt was Irish, wasn't it?
Well, the concept of it might be, but the company that we buy is actually, I think, from Denmark. From Denmark, yeah, Denmark, something like that. Danish or something, and yeah, just simple things really. Get black companies, like I think Dunn's River is a black company.
Yeah.
Grace is Jamaican, and just actually have campaign. That's what I think. Before you came on, I was showing this. See if I find it again. Something, and this ties to your education thing, as in like if we get the black-owned schools, we just promote them, innit? We just promote them. We make it a thing.
Exactly.
So it's basically economics, just at different rates. But what was that looking at? Was this bullying, hating? I think. Oh, come on! Why keep running that spit? Oh, let me get rid of this. Remove. So yeah, just obviously this is obviously a problem what this journal is doing. Where is it? Hating. There you go.
Listen, I ain't even trying to sabotage man's thing. Big up Levi Roots, do your thing, innit? I'm just saying, do you lot know that black people do not use this sauce, innit? You lot know that, innit? I'm not talking to black people because black people know that black people don't use this. I'm just saying, for people that are not black, yeah, you do understand that actual black people, even though Levi's Roots is black, I'm just saying black people don't use this sauce ever. At no time ever do we buy this sauce. Ever. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy it though. I'm just saying we don't buy that when we're cooking food thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you want food thing, I'm not even saying, listen, do your thing. I'm just saying we don't buy that. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I ain't trying.
I understand it's probably comedian, this kind of stuff. Well, we play this, definitely what not to do. But yeah, obviously Levi Roots is an owner or a co-owner or something of his brand. But yeah, just as a campaign to highlight black-owned companies, just as a kind of train. You're right, brother Foster. I think it's Dutch company. Yeah, just to highlight. Just so if we go to shop, we're gonna buy coconut milk, we're gonna buy sauce, we're gonna buy yogurt, not yogurt, mangoes or whatever. Can we have a list of black-owned companies that sell things we buy daily? So obviously, if we're not frequenting black vendors, then we're at least buying black products on the shelf and making that a cultural thing. And then also making the young brothers aspire to know that if they have their own business and their own products, we want to support it as black economics because it's part of our culture. It's something that we're proud to do. So we're creating that concept in it, but we have to do that.
Definitely. And I don't know, the point of saying that you're not talking to black people, so therefore this is for a white audience. For you to say that black people don't buy this, I don't get the point of that. But you know,
Exactly.
anything to get the likes, views, and clicks. You know,
Oh, you're talking about the
even
gentleman?
just bringing chucking a brother's business under the bus.
Yeah,
you
I know.
know.
I've
I just
actually,
want.
go
What'd
ahead.
you say, bro?
I was I've been to his restaurant before it shut down. I think it shut down, but it was a good restaurant as well. I went there, so
He's a great. You know, he's you know. From what I've seen with him, I've seen him do things for the community. So it's just pointless to do that. You know. I mean, I don't know. Whatever he got, was it worth it? I just don't know. Whatever extra clicks or views or big up mates that he got, I don't know if that was worth it. Foster says Saturday schools were set up during a different period, and most children of Caribbean descent being born now of a mixed race. I think that was off of what I was saying. And yeah, I'm aware that they were set up during that period, and there's some that are still going on now. I think Brother Shaka is a part of one, right? So we can still support them. As I said, the ones that are here, we should still support and we should still build up. And the brother, I think it's a brother, has a point of saying that, you know, children of Caribbean descent now being born are mixed race. I don't really have anything to say on that, but I think there's still, I think we should look into this statistic, you know, bro. I'd be really intrigued because although I know that it's high, I think it's something like a couple of points higher than black and black love. So it's not like we're not producing any black and black love. It's just not as much as the others, you know.
yeah.
And even if that is the case, again, I think we should like get in the hang of understanding that it doesn't take all. You know, I think it's this whole waiting on everyone to get it, which is slowing us down. Like, if it's the case that there's not many of us left, then the ones that are left, and then the ones out of those left who understand the need should get together and do the thing. The rest will come. You know, I think waiting on some of us that are lost to get it will be just constantly talking.
Yeah, we should do the campaigns to highlight, and I think collating the information and I was and making actual things like we want to gather names because we've got the schools that we're pushing to push every Sunday or Saturday or whatever it is to do these things, and we just make it a push. Really, just go out and do it. Yeah, it's important. To the point about the Caribbean community is one of the highest when it comes to not marrying within, and I think I saw someone complained about a lot of the strips in certain cities that has been lost because black people haven't retained that kind of economic area. So when Caribbean people came from the West Indies, owning businesses was part of the thing. It was part of embedded in what they wanted to do, and have an area to do trade and stuff and that. But as with many black people around the world, at a certain point, it's easy to coerce to give it up to join other community groups. The white ice is colder kind of thing, and I guess that works with the women as well. Well, we started this show about how to talk to black men about that. And that is you're better off comparing black men to you're putting black men to verse white men and not black men to verse black women. You definitely want. It's a very good strategy. It's very effective, and it's hard to tackle because everyone, when you say it, you realize yes, men should be competing with men, not women, and men complaining saying that our women are not desirable, so we want other men's women. Then you can say, well, so they're successful at making their women desirable. Well, you have failed. And that way it's back onto men having a responsibility and trying to overcome something, and not men pointing fingers saying, I'm going to leave because this person has done this. It's like, no, we're going to fix this. And this is the thing. It's something I thought about as well. Like, I was thought about for years, but it's this concept is connected. This concept where you announce that you want to help black people, young people, you announce it, right? and then a black person talks to you like an other, like not like an other, but like something like, oh, you know what, like, you know, if you want to help black people, why don't you do this? You're like, the way they're talking, it's like,
yeah, they just it's
and you know, it's like,
yeah.
I don't want to mention names, but every time I go on these panels, these UK black speaker corner panels, that's what they do. They joke, yeah, well, you know, you want to help black people, but you know, hey, why don't you you know, get some money and it's like, well, aren't you black? Like, why are you talking like you're a foreigner giving me some kind of charity advice? It's like,
Direction, yeah. It's like, go over there, go away.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Yeah.
But, you know, but so this is the inadequacy that I'm trying to highlight through conversation, so we can see, this is what needs to be fixed. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
Foster gave a statistic that just my eyes just raised up.
Let me read it out. Let me read some of the Saturday schools. My point. Okay, let's go back. It's 3-1 in terms of ratio to black to mixed race of the Caribbean heritage. So for every 3, there's one.
One.
Right. That's okay. For the future of the Black British community is with Africans. Okay. Yes, I can see that happening. I looked at the statistics. I did see that as a collective group, black people do date.
That's bad, bro.
Yeah,
isn't it?
But they do. But and Africans, the African community are more likely to date within Africa, but there's still a high ratio on them, and that dramatically changes. Obviously, the more successful someone becomes. I think that, you know, that needs to be tackled, like, you know, success and not picking your, like, we have to have picking a black woman has to be a sign of success, you see, and I think we can tie that to economics and inadequacies and fixing inadequacies, like, and generational wealth. I think that's a good angle, you know, and also go ahead.
Raven, not only a sign of success or economic success, but it's a sign of cultural success. Because we're in a cultural war. We're in a cultural and psychological war. You see what I'm saying to you? And that includes obviously the economics and the politics and the, you know, land and all these things. But I was gonna no, go on. He's gonna say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I find it crazy that it takes the route of having to understand legacy or generational wealth more than to kind of open someone's eyes, rather than the actual facts and evidence that are out there. Like, if that really is the statistics, and we've seen things that have happened in regards to Argentina, and, you know, this does happen, and that's not enough. Like, the idea of, you know, we could be living in a country where we could be just wiped out. It's just, that's not enough. Yeah, I think
it's not gonna be enough. It's not gonna be enough because we're still undergoing trauma. You see.
Yeah. Also, it's hard to. It's the mindset, in the sense of how. I'm just gonna mute that, bro. It's the mindset of how things are produced, right? So so for example, it's how people perceive things. So when I talk about the white rightening kind of philosophy of white people in power, of, you know, saying, okay, well, slavery was bad, so the new philosophy is don't see color and we're all one. That, with a low self-esteem people who've no direction, that could be very alluring. So when you ask those persons, you know, would it bother you if your grandchildren weren't black, if they just, you know, they didn't look like you at all, and they just wanted to be European and that way? And I suspect a lot of them say that life has no color, doesn't matter. They're my children, and you're like, I get that, but
no.
I suspect. Well, this is the question we should be having.
But wait, bro. Okay, yeah, they'll probably say that at the exception when it's early, but you know, when the children are a bit older, and the writings are kind of on the wall of what direction they're gonna go. I think then, obviously it's too late by then, but I think then it's just, do you think they still have that same concept? Or maybe they do, I don't know.
Well, I think it's how
we
you
have
work
seen
it.
examples, a lot of examples where a lot of men have said that, you know, that is a worry, you know. Even when they've seen it, like the horizon, their kids are a bit older, and it's like, wow, you know, when I look around, it's like, wow, this is, you know, it's not the ideal. You know, they'd hope at least one, or, you know, you do hear it, right? So
it's the truth is, the reason why I heavily promote this double dilemma branding is because you want to trigger something in the mind of like, wait a minute, we are like, I think we are falling constantly, right? And if we benchmark, we brand concepts, it's like, oh, you know, we're doing good here, and oh, we've got music on TV, whatever it is. But it's like breaking down that, you know, Claude Anderson's very good at that, like breaking down, you don't own anything. And yes, outside influences play a massive part, but you also don't want to, you see. So you're not showing us any urgency in it, and just like this thing here is important. Let me show this video quickly. Let me I think let me close this one down. Run that space. And so this how this is framed. The black lead, the black Arab, black women, black hair. What's black hair? What's that?
Most black women do not have long hair.
That's another thing. Oh gosh, I haven't played that one. Where is it? Nick marries Candice, respect, black leader, black celebrity, bullying. Should really name these things properly, really. Oh, American. Is this 85? Wow. American culture, black. Wait, what's going on there? Hold on.
Most allow.
Yeah, what do I call it? White women's sports. I should call something else. There you go.
Basketball men and white women. What's that about? People in sports and white women.
I think a majority of what we see is men choosing women who are willing to do for them what needs to be done or what they need to feel within a relationship. She probably waits on him hand and foot, gives him.
So I'll stop with that. But what this brother's doing, we've really got a framework for it, and it's success simulation when talking about non-black people or black or non-black women and white women, and then failure fabrication. Oh, let's go back to the thing. Let's just go on this one, and then failure fabrication when they talk about black women, right? And this is something that we're not really recognizing. And this is I think I was giving an example about this concept of there's an Ethiopian woman, and I remember seeing a show. She was saying that, you know, she brought her kids to Ethiopia, and then she was happy that when they were drawing pictures of black people, right? And but when she was young, raised in the UK, she kept on drawing European because of what she saw and what she was seeing as standard of beauty. So I'm tying this to that same concept as well, where it's like, even when we're talking about why things ain't working, we then create scenarios of failure, fabrication towards our stuff and success to other stuff, right? And this is something that I see, especially in that concept of why don't you want to marry? Like the fact of being low self-esteem, completely succumb to the branding of another people group. We won't bring this up. No, it's something else. It's the women in our group that we have the responsible over, of course. They are hard, isn't it? They are not women like, but the women of the group that benefits from our destruction, they are women like. That we could go to the Bangladeshi woman, but we don't. We go to the European or the Arab. We go to the people who directly influence our genocide in many areas and have yet to pay reparations. You see, this is the people who show us success simulation. This is where we want to go. But so what I'm saying is, because when we start seeing these high numbers of in the UK, in America, in Canada, even in Africa, when it comes to certain things, we see a high number of black people going towards the group that benefit from the destruction, right? And having a constant success simulation narrative when it comes to being with them, then we have to say that there is a sickness here, right? And that's why we have to use a double dilemma. We have to say, I'm sorry, family. The double dilemma tells us that we have no friends and that we're inadequate. So even the way we're describing the things ain't in our best interest. Like how? So okay. So after this is said here,
The advice talks to him respectfully, and the list goes on and on and on. We don't talk about in our community.
What solution accountability are we presenting in these kind of dialogues? Like how do we? Okay. So if you're saying black men are not picking black women, right? When they get successful, how do you change that? Even if it's true or not true, like what do we say? Like, is there a want in the discussion? Like I'll give you examples of Ukraine and Russia at war, and when they go to Asian countries, they have parties just for them too. So even though they're at war, when they go to other countries, they have parties that's only for Europeans. All right. When you go, this happened recently, but even in the First and Second World War, they wouldn't let black people shoot each other. They used to have breaks in the war to play football, Nazis versus the Allies, and blacks couldn't play. So it's like what I'm saying is these things must be brought up, and you must tell black people it's because we're collectively inadequate. You see, and yes, it causes anxiety. But once a person admits, yes, we don't value teamwork and we have no friends, once they trust me, it will explode in their brains. And then they'll go, we must have a solution. That's when black love becomes a primary. But until they accept that we don't value teamwork, that we've been conditioned to be self-sabotaging, right? And that is at the helm of why we're head back. It will always be success simulation towards non-black people. It will always be a failure fabrication towards black people. All stories, all tales. It will always be that way.
Raven.
Go ahead, family.
I think Raven. I think what you said there is very important, and I think that do you not think that we need to make your message louder? I remember somebody said that like about 2 weeks ago. The message needs to be louder in order for people to for it to resonate.
Yeah. Well, like I said, every show I get on, if it does, most of the shows get banned or they get taken off. Matter of fact, I've been banned more than Instagram than any before for saying black love is a revolution, right? But or black women are beautiful. This kind of stuff gets me banned. But every time I've spoken and it has been taken down, it spreads in it and it triggers. Like I said, the target here is black men because black men collectively can make a great difference. And with this philosophy of black men reforming black men and black men reforming black women is one I definitely co-sign as effective because we don't want civil wars. That's why we don't want diaspora wars of Haitians versus African Americans versus Jamaicans, whatever, right? And that's a very easy thing to get triggered off. Very easy, right? We also don't want sex wars within the community. And a way to do that is to literally hold black men accountable of fixing black men, right? And the truth has to be said that regardless of like this, but what if the black woman does it? Can't even be an issue. It's like black men have to lead in this because we have been leading in these amazing numbers, highly amazing numbers of not building industries and giving economic resource. Like I said, there's a gentleman.
That is such a good point, bro.
Yeah.
That is such a good point.
Yes. Just think about that the Nate Parker one's a very good thing, right? There is a man who's making a film called what's it called?
Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation. And the original film is about black men destroying America by impregnating European women, and the Ku Klux Klan stopped them. This kind of stuff, right? He makes the same name of the film, but about the revolution that happens in America. The attempt at the revolution, but definitely a revolution of some kind. And the director himself was accused of sexually assaulting with his black friend, a European woman, and he got free of this 20 years ago. But he still married a European Soviet. And then obviously all the powers that be got together to stop that film from coming out, right? For whatever reason. I'm sure you can name many reasons. But the fact that's how it works, isn't it? Like Like even the people who have the motivation to do these wonderful works, the irony in every corner. And the only thing I can say is we are collectively inadequate. You see,
I
but
think that's part of the genius in the takedown, right? Because the same people is going to take, because like you said, black men have led in so many things that it's probably not the greatest for us. That they do need to lead into stopping this kind of gender wars happening. And I think the fact that it's going to take black men to do that when they're the most effective is the biggest problem.
Well, see, when it to me, I think it's impossible to look at the current condition we are in as a people and as men to say that you don't see that we're collectively inadequate. The thing is, so when I was a shorty, I used to have to watch my little sisters, and then when they mess up their room, they had to clean their room. But the whole time they supposed to be cleaning their room, they arguing. Now when I got older, I realized they are creating these arguments every 15 to 5 minutes because they don't want to clean this room. Because once they look at this room being dirty, they're gonna realize they're gonna have to put in work and clean this room. It's the same thing we doing as black men. We see the condition of our community, but we keep making these excuses. The Knicks gotta play, the Bulls gotta play, the Cowboys gotta play. Our women ain't supporting us. We create these excuses because we don't want to face the problem. That's really what it is when it comes down to it. These men are getting with these white women because they don't want to deal with the problem. They don't want to. Being black comes with a responsibility. They running away from that. They don't want their sons to have to deal with that. They don't want their daughters to have to deal with that. So they're running from that. They don't want to have to deal with the shame, the quote unquote shame that they deem as being black. That's really the ultimate psychology when it comes down to. But nobody's going to admit that because that's really going to show how pathetic they are as people.
Exactly.
The family, we've had that 2-hour mark. This has been fantastic as usual. This week, this for the people checking before we get our last kind of things. We deal with the two topics: Lost Legacy versus Black Bequest. So we put a framework in place where we want to minimize the Lost Legacy, the concept, and maximize the Black Bequest. You see. So the Black Bequest is what we push out there. Black people's inheritance, we want to maximize that. And obviously the Black race and the M.A.A.F.A pledge, because we were victims of the M.A.A.F.A, we have a pledge to try to fix it. And we can't do anything else, i.e. marry out or give out a wealth away until we fix this problem. Panel, any last things on the panel before we go, family?
I'll just Black Betterment to y'all. Blessings.
There you go.
Yeah, great show. Black Betterment to the family.
Let's keep up the good work.
Thank you, family. So until next week, everyone, Black Betterment, we big up Empress Kush, Brother Kamal, and Brother Musa, the contributors, and also the Foster, Brother Buddha, Brother Dominique, Brother Kunga, and all the others who are in the forums. Join us next week where we find more solutions. Big up yourselves.